and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. We're here on Tuesday, which means it's Good Newsday. We have all that news you need to know about to make you have hope in humanity again. There's people doing good stuff out there, good things happening to people, and I guess also somebody surviving a fall down from the 5th floor. That's a pretty miraculous thing, I should say. This is the first and only international game show Before Coffee, a father and daughter news podcast where we look up our stories right before the show. We just got caffeine in our bodies and we're learning to read and speak live on stream. Let's get into our Good Tuesday headlines and spin that segue wheel. Today on Good Newsday. Volunteers release hundreds of bats in Twilight event near Kyiv. Plus, he was playing by the window. A 2-year-old child miraculously survives a fall from the 5th floor, escaping with only a broken arm.
Read for Good Newsday for the United States. NASA's astronauts, Artemis 2 astronauts, go around the moon or head back to Earth. We'll update that. And we're going to talk about the viral delivery driver who buys sodas for people when his company runs out.
In more good news, love of Lego inspired a blind man to make the sets more accessible so even blind people can make their favorite, Star Wars ship. Plus, Rufián celebrates the unemployment figures but warns Sanchez. Precarious employment and housing will bring down the government. This is some news coming out of Spain.
And good news! Japan just switched on the first osmotic power plant. And Scotland's rewilding project gets going.
In my culture news, going underground again. Paris catacombs reopened to visitors after major safety renovations. So you can look at those skulls in peace.
Yes, awesome. And it's National Coffee Cake Day, so you can have your coffee and cake and eat it too. Well, you can't eat your coffee, but you get the point. It's April 7th, 2026 on Before Coffee. Ours is just made to drink with coffee.
Oh, why did that stop working? Oh, weird. I can't remember.
It's probably got cinnamon in the menu.
There where I am.
Where's my notebook?
I don't know what coffee cake is made out of. I mean, there's cake that you can make with coffee, like espresso beans. You can smash it and then put it in like the cream or the icing. I've made that before. It was really good. But
I like the lemon pound cake.
I don't know if there's an actual definition of what a coffee cake is. I thought a coffee cake is just something
that's super absorbent. It's a marbly cake. It looks like it has like different types of colors. I don't know. It's just coffee cake. It's
according to the U.S. anyways, it's a sweet bread common in the U.S. so called because it's typically served with coffee. So it's just like, I guess at some point people started serving it. But if you go to different countries, coffee cake is a different thing. Like coffee cake is totally different in the Netherlands. It's more of an actual cake with crumble on the top.
Totally different. See, you would never drink a coffee cup this big in the Netherlands. It could be espresso, and you'd probably lose your mind if you drank that much espresso, right? You'd go,
no. Yeah, I mean, nobody drinks espresso. You put milk in it or something. I drink a cortado, which is basically half milk, half espresso.
Nobody anywhere drinks an espresso this big. Right? Not even at Starbucks. Give me the Mondo size espresso. No.
That would be illegal. You would be killing people. Yeah, they would get heart attacks and die.
Why don't I just give you some cocaine instead? Here you go. Here's some cocaine. Have a nice day. Anyway.
Let's roll our first segue.
National Drug Awareness Day. Be aware of your coffee cake.
That's not
If it's
icing.
coffee or cake. We're not sure. We're not sure if it's coffee and cake.
Is our first segue.
Sarcasm. It's a dessert topping and a floor polish. For the best shine you ever tasted.
Our first story is coming out of Kyiv on AP News from Derek Gatopoulos and Vasilisa Stepanenko. As night falls over a nature park on the edge of Kyiv, children crowd around volunteers who carefully open cloth bags and release bats into the twilight. As each one takes flight, snapping through the air, more than 1,000 spectators cheer and applaud. Families, off-duty soldiers, and bat enthusiasts, a few dressed in goth outfits, celebrate the bats. Hundreds of bats, many rescued from war-torn areas in the east of the country, were released late Saturday, which I believe was the 4th of April, at one of the multiple events around Ukraine planned to coincide with the arrival of spring. Yes, eat those mosquitoes! This is important for us as an organization because these are on a red list of endangered animals. Preserving them is very important, said Anastasia Vovk, a volunteer at the Ukrainian Bat Rehabilitation Center, which organizes the release. All 28 bat species in Ukraine are listed as protected animals due to declining populations. For many attendees, the event offered welcome relief and an excuse for a family outing after a harsh winter marked by sub-zero temperatures, nightly Russian drone and missile attacks, and crippling power cuts. Late on the 4th of April, children, many wearing bat-themed t-shirts and hats, watched as volunteers fed the animals mealworms with tweezers before letting them go. Oh, I'm so jealous. I want to feed a bat a mealworm. We have bats here in the village too, but I wouldn't dare go to grab one just to feed it a mealworm. Some were allowed to wear gloves and handle the bats themselves. Life goes on despite the war, said Oleksii Belyaev, a 54-year-old Kyiv resident who attended with his family. The war is the main thing right now, but there has been something else as well. Belyaev runs a small printing business and spends time volunteering for army projects. The war has displaced animals as well as people. Buildings destroyed by shelling damaged bat shelters, and explosions terrify the tiny mammals, experts say. In winter, bats hibernate, and if they are disturbed, they can die. They reproduce slowly, 1 or 2 offspring every year. So populations recover very slowly, said Alona Shulenko, who headed Saturday's release. As naturally hibernation sites disappear, bats move into cities, into cracks in buildings and balconies, but repairs or destruction of these places can kill entire colonies, she said. All Ukrainian bat species are insect-eating and legally protected, while the country lies on an important East European migratory route. Remember, they're also the breadbasket, right? So they're eating all those parasites and stuff that could destroy the wheat and things, so they're very important. The charity says that it's rescued more than 30,000 bats in total, including 4,000 bats last winter. We are all living in the wartime, and everyone has their own struggles, said Shulenko. But we are doing what we know best. If we stop what we are doing, thousands of bats will die. So let's celebrate rescuing the bats in Ukraine from the war-tornness. The war-tornness. Give me some sarcasm, I guess.
Well, that's a baddie problem, I guess. I can only come up with puns for some reason. Oh, this thing is loaded with puns. Or maybe and I actually started writing a alliteration headline, like about mosquitoes and malaria, right? Mosquito, but hey, I'm not doing an alliteration headline. So
you can be sarcastic in anything, realistically, right?
Yeah, I'm being sarcastic. It's like, yeah. It's like, there goes those bats, right? Hopefully some of them are vampires, right? Hey, hopefully, right? Because yesterday we had the werewolf story, or was it the day before?
Yes, it was yesterday about the wolf.
Actually, it was last week. Yeah, the lady bit by the wolf. We had it a few days ago. Well, here's hoping for vampires.
Here's hoping for vampires.
Man. We need us.
Maybe the vampires can beat Russia back. That'd be great.
Yeah, maybe we've entered the Twilight alternate reality and we're done with the frickin' whatever the shit show
other
we're in
reality
now.
we live in. Yeah. Time for werewolves and
garbage
vampires to fight.
Yeah, that's right. Let's go. Let's go, vampires! All right.
Our next story is shorter, and it's about is this the child story? I think it's a child story. Yes. So, there was a child playing in a window, and they fell 5 floors, and they only escaped with a broken arm. Talk about lucky. It's from Philippe Salvador on La Dépêche, France. On Saturday, April 4th, a 2-year-old child fell from the window of a 5th-floor apartment in Passac. The little boy miraculously escaped with only a broken arm. It's considered an Easter miracle, even though it was on Saturday, not Sunday. A 2-year-old child survived the fall from a 5th floor of a residence in Allée des Escuriers in Passac, Gironde, on Saturday, April 4th, reports IC Gironde. The tragedy unfolded around 5:30 p.m. According to the initial reports, the little boy was playing with a chair near the kitchen window before falling. This classic scenario of a domestic accident immediately triggered an emergency response to the young victim, who was initially rushed to the Bordeaux Pellegrin Hospital in critical condition. Ultimately, the outcome was unexpectedly good. The child suffered only a broken arm. At the time of the incident, several people were in the apartment. His 13-year-old brother, who witnessed the fall, was taken to the Pellegrin Children's Hospital in stable condition, likely suffering from shock. I just saw what I thought was my younger sibling dying. An 8-year-old woman, also present, was taken into custody by the National Police for questioning. Child endangerment. To fully investigate the circumstances of the fall, the police inquiry has been launched. Investigators will need to determine whether safety measures were lacking or if insufficient supervision facilitated the child's access to the window. You never want to get arrested by the French. They are not very lenient. Remember, in Les Miserables, they sent the main character to prison for 10 years because he stole bread, you know? It's not exactly a great place to get arrested.
They chop off your big toe for being late for work. So
hopefully it was just an accident.
They're cruel.
But that's my short story about the child who honestly didn't get through unscathed, but only a broken arm after falling 5 floors is pretty miraculous.
Well, I don't know what his career is going to look like in the future, but if he moves to Russia, he could be a general. If he can survive a 5-story fall, he's already well ahead of the curve. He can go to Putin's flying school. He can be a star pupil. He's already mastered Introduction to Pavement. Introduction to Pavement is lesson 1, and he's already passed with flying colors. Now he's on lesson 2.
Okay, let's go to our next segue.
My sarcasm gun is fully loaded. Scratching my knee right now, in case anybody's wondering what I'm doing. That mosquito story must have made me itchy. Anyway.
Limerick is our next segue for your story.
Oh no, Limerick! Ho ho! We got 2 stories. Let me write this down. All right, we'll forget. What's my name again? Lime Rick. Yeah, Lime Rick. That's his name. All right, these stories today. Then we're going to talk about the moon stuff first. I did send you a video. Space.com has a story about, hey, they waited around the moon. Isn't that cool? I wish I was there just for that. I don't want to do the launch. I don't want to living in space shit. I want the 5 or 10 minutes where you come around the other side of the moon. That's all I want. Space.com, this is a really big stuff. NASA Artemis 2 astronauts after historic flyby feat. Who gives a shit what Trump says? Artemis 2 astronauts, Commander Reed Wiseman, pilot Victor Grover, and mission specialist Christina Koch and Jeremy Hansen of Canada spent 7 hours on Monday, April 6th, observing parts of the moon never seen before by human eyes. Of course, they've been seen by flybys from spacecraft. Their 10-day mission, which began a launch from Florida atop NASA's mightiest rocket, the Space Launch System, on April 1st, is the first human flight to the moon since Apollo 17 mission of December 1972. And there's a picture of them. They called Trump and they said, this call is certainly special to all of us. We're doing great things. We're proud to be a part of it. We saw sights no human had ever seen before, not even Apollo. That was amazing for us, he said. Stinky has some question. Who cares? The astronaut said, I think one of the biggest highlights was coming back from the far side of the moon and having the first glimpse of the planet Earth again after being out of communication for 45 minutes. Now, we're not sure Trump knew who he was talking to. We're not sure he knows where he is. He is out of his fucking mind, so that's obvious. So let's not repeat the old man and try to ridicule him as he fades off into oblivion and bye-bye and never returns to reality again, because he's not all there. Anyway, back to the story. I think one of the biggest highlights is going back to Earth. It was really reminds you what a special place we have and how important it is for our nation to lead and not follow and exploring deep space. Another misnomer they say is people going to space come back more convinced that there's God. It's like, no, the people that were convinced that there was God got more convinced. That's the difference. The people that didn't give a shit, they said, wow, this is really cool, and didn't think about God at all. That's one of those things that's always funny to me. It's like, I don't know why you think that's a thing, right? If you believe something, you believe it even stronger. That's all that really happened. During a 12-minute call, Trump cheered the bravery of the Artemis 2 astronauts, hailed his pick for NASA administrator. Anyway, let's get off the Trump thing. Trump's decision to go around the moon. Again, it's cool. Trump also hailed the courage of Hansen, a Canadian space agency astronaut, whose nation he refers to a neighbor as the United States. Oh, let's be nice to
after
Canada.
the tariffs.
Too much of this article. Yeah, too much of this article is about Trump.
Yeah, we want to talk about the astronauts. We don't care. He didn't do anything. He didn't go in space. He just called them on the phone.
Space.com apparently is big into ass kissing nowadays. At one point, Artemis 2 seemed unable to hear Stinky and lost audio contact. Oh, thankfully, leading to an awkward pause in discussion. Can we just get a quick comm check to make sure you guys are still online and we didn't have a handover? I would just pretend I couldn't hear him too. I'm sorry, I didn't hear any of that. What was that again? Can you repeat it? There's no way he can repeat what he just said because he doesn't remember what he just said. We definitely have to fix some of the plumbing, Isaac Menjo, referring to the toilet trouble the crew had reported on their test flight. Oh boy, that's really bad. Toilet troubles. Anyway, good news, they're still alive. They didn't disappear and skip off into space.
The aliens didn't, the aliens didn't get them.
They're still in Earth's orbit, and Earth is pulling them back to Earth as we speak. So there's your good news. Just as the moon can't escape our orbit, it is really hard for a rocket or a spaceship to escape the orbit, right? We have to be on the other side of the moon and kind of skip off into space and never have, a chance to come back again. So we have to avoid all bodies that pull us in. Otherwise, you spend a lot of energy trying to escape their orbit. Anyway, that's your quick story. You got a limerick. Sorry for all the pauses, as this had way too much dialogue from Trump in it. It's like the guy over.
We don't want to hear about it.
To annihilate the world.
Wait, this is on science, right? Yeah. Shouldn't they be talking about some science or something? Yeah. I don't know why they're just talking about what Trump said. It's so
they're talking
weird
about
article.
The stupid pointless phone call. Like, oh my God, Trump
what
is
a disappointment.
I
thought they were gonna talk about like, they first started their journey, blah blah blah, and they took some photos. I mean, I watched the live stream, so they took some really cool photos with digital cameras while they were up there. So even though we weren't able to see the actual dark side of the moon, so to say, they took some photos of it, so we can see that later, hopefully, when they share it with us. And that's really cool. And then
some real good photos.
They could have talked about the interesting menu they had. The food they ate up there.
I'm sorry.
They had some stuff they had some stuff like some barbecue brisket, some chicken and peanut sauce. It was all dehydrated and you have to rehydrate it. But I'm just saying they could have just said, here's some peas and chicken and good luck. But they had some fancy foods on the menu there.
It cost a lot of money to make that crap food, too. It cost a lot of money to make that crap food. You got a limerick, right?
Yes. In a craft that danced round the moon, humans sang a brave, hopeful tune. With the stars as their guide, they ventured with pride. In the silence of space, they'd commune. I think you're also talking about how I think you were also talking about how about religion. Yeah, there were some people I saw on social media who were like, why do people always have to bring God into everything? And it's like, well, to be fair, that person is a devout Christian, so they are going to do that. That's what devout people do. They bring in their religion to everything. This reminds me of my religion. That's what they like to do. Just like how I love Pokemon, so I'd probably be like, oh, this reminds me of the battle against Rayquaza in that Pokemon game, because I'm in space. Like, I would do the same thing, just not with religion, right? People have their I don't want to use the word hobby. What's the word? They have their interests, right? And for this particular guy, right, I think it was the black astronaut. He's the very religious one. He was the one who was like, this reminds me of the beauty of God. Yeah, well, it would, because he's already religious. That's what you're trying to say, right? But yeah, I did see a lot of, and it was Easter as well.
Feel that way.
It had just been Easter, so it was on everyone's mind and stuff. And
yeah, but a person that just devoutly believes a bunch of stories from a book that told you that the Earth was the center of the universe, right? Which is a complete lie. You believe that book when you obviously know it's a lie, and then you get out into space that's showing it a lie, and that confirms your belief in that book. That makes literally no sense. Well, maybe not literally. Now, the scientist who never believed in that book and goes into outer space and says, see, all this shit that I said, it's real. That guy gets confirmed. The whole superstition shit being confirmed just proves that you're superstitious. That's all it proves. It just proves you're superstitious. It proves that you believe something, you refuse to drop that belief based on the actual hard evidence you know as a freaking scientist. After all, you have to know something about science to go in space, I would think.
yeah.
But yeah, that's the whole thing is, to me, it doesn't confirm anything about God. God cannot be confirmed unless he comes up and goes, I'm God, watch this. And you go, holy shit, you are God. That would do it. That would do it for me. Enough, everything short of that, you know, watch this. I can just make that tree disappear. Fuck, it's gone. God, hey, nice to meet you, God. Hey, can you do something for me? No, that would be it. Other than that, I don't know what proof you want.
Yeah, it was actually really interesting because the person I saw on social media talking about this was French, right? So they're like, why do Americans always have to be like, and anyways, God, into every conversation? That's what the French person was saying.
Right. And I think we've proven it on this show is that God, even though God is actually real, he's really busy and you all give him too much to do. He's got a big checklist and he only gets the things when he can get to them.
I think God is a woman myself. If God is real, it's a woman. There's something really weird about being like, the person who made the entire universe is a man.
Say women fuck things up like this? I thought it was men that fuck
No, it's
like
because women are the ones who give birth. That's why.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, you're tasked with that. That's something you're tasked with. To me, it's more or less something you're tasked with. Not
well, you would. Just do, I mean, right? you feel that way. I guess.
Stuck with that. You're stuck with it. Yeah. No, men are stuck with crap too, right? I don't know. Anyway, God himself, like I said, he's just too him, her, it, whatever. Too damn busy. Stop giving God things to do. The checklist is long. He just the other day sent a giant whale up a tiny river to solve starvation that happened 300 years ago.
In Germany, yeah.
It's just behind. Well, no, and the Germany one was 500 years behind. The one in Oregon was about 300 years behind. I'm just guessing, right? And by the way, that the whales that are going to the northwestern United States are not going to waste. They're being used by the natives. So they die naturally. They get repurposed. Anyway, I had a couple of things about this in the weekend. No, I have another story, but I just said 3 little things I wanted to say about Trump being nuts. Over the weekend, he did declare that he's going to end the world today. That's the thing. He said he's going to end the world.
Yeah.
He keeps saying he's going to end the world today. That's not crazy. Also, on I think it was Friday, he decided that Jasmine Crockett was Davy Crockett's like great-great-granddaughter. Right? And he started praising her. Yeah. He started praising Jasmine Crockett just out of nowhere. He started praising her. He's like, what? Jasmine Crockett? Doesn't he hate Jasmine Crockett? Doesn't he? Like, you know? Anyway, and she, and I got it in my head that he was going to appoint her attorney general. I mean, she is qualified. She's way hell more qualified than Matt Gaetz, for Christ's sake. Anyway, So Jasmine Crockett, hopefully. And the third thing, the thing that came over the weekend was the food stamp thing. We had to talk about food and how prepackaged food. And the meme going around is, MREs are good enough for our military men and women. They should be good enough for people on food stamps, right? And they said, that's going to save the government money. Just give them MREs. MREs cost $12 per meal, way more than food stamps. It's cheaper just to give them money. Even if it's fraud involved, you'd have to spend 6 times as much in fraud just to get the money back. Okay, so let's do another story. Just my weekend argument to burn up. Let's talk about our shorter story. The elderly delivery guy. This is from people.com. This is kind of a viral thing I saw on YouTube. Elderly delivery driver makes extra stop to pick up a customer's drink that out of stock at Domino's. Weird headline. Not the best headline writer. Lexi Lane of People has it. A Domino's delivery driver named Dan stopped at another store to buy a Diet Coke for a customer after a restaurant ran out. Big company can't supply their own stock, and they're already charging people 3 times what they pay for it. But hey, we ran out anyway. You ever buy a 1 liter at a pizza place, a delivery pizza place? It's like $9 or something, right?
Yep.
A delivery man has gone viral. They're going above and beyond for a customer. Dan, an elderly man around 70, who is actually, I think, he's retired, accepted a pizza delivery from Domino's in Idaho. When he got to the store to pick up the order that a customer, Brian Wilson, placed, he was informed that the restaurant was out of Diet Coke. Now, it being me, if that was me, it was like, yeah, who's the manager? Why don't you supply your store? Anyway, Wilson then got a voicemail. No, I'm old enough to where I ask those questions like, you're going to make me look bad, asshole. You're going to be cutting to my tip. That's what's going to happen if you don't bring the shit they want. Wilson then got a voicemail about the item being unavailable, and then Dan had already left the store. Instead of skipping the item completely, the driver stopped at another store to pick up the Diet Coke. In the Ring video taken at Wilson's home, Dan explained what happened. I stopped at the store, though, he said. Oh, you didn't have to do that, Wilson replied. Dan then told him, it's okay. Do you have a way I can add more to your tip? You deserve more than that. I don't have any cash on me, he then asked Dan. Oh, don't worry about it, Dan replied, noting that the customer had already left him a good tip. Wilson offered to call the store to try to leave more of a tip, but all Dan wanted was to tell the company that he was a good driver. Still, Wilson wanted to do something nice to give back Dan's kindness. He launched a GoFundMe. The thing about GoFundMe, I love it, but man, they just get way more money than they really needed, right? And it's sounding like, shit. Diet Coke guy. Let's see where we are. This is as of April 2nd, so this may be even bigger. Maybe stop giving to this GoFundMe. I would just say, maybe give money to people that need it, because this guy doesn't need your money. He launched the GoFundMe for the driver. I'm sorry, the guy. The driver himself didn't. The guy who didn't tip the driver enough. And encourage viewers to viral TikTok to join the fundraiser. As of Thursday, $32,337 of its $35K goal for buying a Diet Coke. Yeah, it pays to be nice. We were honestly blown away. That level of care and kindness is rare these days, Roland wrote in his campaign's page. That's where Dan shared something he made this moment even more meaningful. He's working at Domino's for a second job for 14 years, and he's retiring in just a few weeks. He is a government employee. He has to work a second job. Let's show Dan that his kindness didn't go unnoticed. He added, let's help him step into retirement, feeling appreciated, supported, and celebrated. Dan also got the chance to share his side during the interview with the Idaho Statesman newspaper. He explained that it took about 3 minutes to stop the store for the soda. When I got there, they were just flabbergasted, he said with a laugh. He goes, they don't make people like you anymore. So good story, good news. 32 grand as of Thursday, which I would think GoFundMe cuts
definitely
you off.
Definitely time to retire.
Point, right?
Yeah.
If GoFundMe does not cut you off when you reach your goal, what are they doing? It just seems like my goal is only 35 or at 37. Why are people still giving money when it's past 35? It's like, it's really nice, but you're giving him way too much money. You probably should have into a tax bracket now, right? He's going to a tax bracket.
Now to pay taxes,
you have to declare that shit. There's an official record created. You got to declare it. All right, let's have it.
There's a there. I don't know what it is in the U.S., but here in the Netherlands, there's a gifting tax. So it's if you get a certain amount of money as a gift, you have to pay taxes on it. So, yeah you can only claim so much before it's tax-free.
Yeah,
it's definitely a gift.
Just take half of that money. Just take half of that money and just give it to the tax man. Take it to the state taxes, give it to the federal taxes, because you're just going to end up doing that anyway. Just give it away. Yeah. Don't even pretend it's your money. Yeah.
Okay, our limerick today is: a driver with pizza in tow found soda priced high as a crow. He bought it for less with a grin, not a stress. Now profit just soar like a bow. Argus. I mean, he made a lot of profits. He made a lot of profits from that transaction. 32,000.
He's retiring. He doesn't. Yeah. He doesn't have to do the Domino's thing, but he probably liked doing it. I'm just saying. I don't think he needed the money necessarily because he was doing it 2 days a week, and he had a full-time government gig. The video I saw said he had a government gig with the U.S. federal government,
he has that government money, and now he's made 32,000.
So he has a full-time gig.
That's he's 70, half a year of salary, probably.
Right. He's retiring at 70, which means he gets a 70-year-old Social Security check. Right. He's going to get a pension from the government, and he's got $32,000. And he's a nice guy, but again, he's not hurting for money. So old does not mean poor, everybody. In many, many cases, it means filthy rich, way richer than you think, just because he drives a piece of shit car.
Definitely richer than millennials these days. Yeah.
Rich people driving around in fancy cars, a lot of times don't own that car. Just understand that part. It's a leased car or they're making payments. So let's not even pretend that they own that car. A guy driving a junker, he might have millions of dollars and you don't even know it because he didn't waste it on a car. Anyway, let's do the spin. I'm done yapping.
Next.
Again, buying things you don't need is not a flex. Buying things you don't need is no longer a flex. Being frugal, being smart is a flex.
And that's why I'm the flexist of them all. Because I can live on 500 euros a month.
Right.
Okay. Accurate metaphor and simile is our next segue for my stories.
That, can't you? What'd I get? Sorry, I'm talking over you.
I'm already happy. Accurate metaphor and simile.
Oh, okay, metaphor.
Our next story is coming out of Massachusetts, the United States, by Michael Casey on AP News. Like a lot of young children, Matthew Schifrin loved building Lego sets, but because he was blind, Schifrin had to rely on friends and family to help him complete his creations, sometimes bribing them with tea to get them to come by his house. That all changed when he was 13. A family friend and babysitter came over to his house in Newton, Massachusetts, and handed him a binder filled with accessible instructions for building a Middle Eastern palace in Lego. The instructions, written in Braille, allowed him to complete the set without having to rely on the brightly colored pictures that typically come with Lego sets. This was the first time that I was able to build a Lego set on my own, Schifrin said at his home. Surrounded by sets he has built including Statue of Liberty, figurines, and NASA Apollo Saturn V rocket. It was truly an amazing experience because I was completely in control of the whole building process. I knew where the pieces went and I was able to learn about the world around me. After Schifrin's babysitter died, he wanted to honor her memory, so he set about fine-tuning the instructions the two had posted online to reach other blind builders. 3 years ago, Schifrin launched Bricks for the Blind. The 20-year-old now works with a team of 30 sighted writers and blind testers. His website makes the downloadable instructions available for free to anyone who's blind or visually impaired. They can either print the step-by-step instructions in Braille, use Braille computers, or turn the screen readers, which are software applications that convert the text into speech. The instructions allow a blind person to build on their own, but Schifrin's website also says a sighted person might be needed to sort Lego bricks. Otherwise, the blind builder could turn to one of the several apps that identify bricks using artificial intelligence. So far, the nonprofit has created instructions for more than 540 Lego sets, ranging from a 100-piece car to a 4,000-piece bridge. About 3,000 builders have used their instructions across the United States as far as Australia. Schifrin also approached the Denmark-based Lego Group in 2017 about making the products more accessible, which inspired the company to create audio and braille instructions for a growing number of Lego sets that launched in 2019. He should have got paid or something for it, I think. Separately, the company also introduced Lego Braille bricks in 2020, which are available in French, English, and Spanish, and feature studs on the bricks that correspond to letters, numbers, and symbols. It also has introduced several characters in their sets with vision loss. Schifrin, who also is an actor, composer, and opera singer. Wow, that's the second time we're talking about opera today. That's weird. What a weird coincidence.
Yeah.
Said he has gotten messages from many people who couldn't build Legos until now. He's heard from grandparents who are blind and say they're now able to build with their grandkids. We couldn't build with our kids. They didn't want our help. But now we can teach our grandkids about Lego, Schifrin said. Or blind parents who say, my kids are sighted. They don't want my help, but it's amazing to really understand what all this hype in Lego's about, because now I can build my own. Daniel Milan, who lost his sight in 2024, turned to bricks for the blind after a tumor crushed his optic nerves. The 31-year-old master's student from San Diego, who's studying to be assisted technology instructor, first completed a Lego ornament set. Then on his anniversary, he completed a Lego rose set with his wife. Being able to do it independently is freedom, he said, adding that his sudden vision loss left him wondering about what he would be able to do again. But after building Lego sets, he soon learned that it's not about what I can't do anymore, it's about what I can do, he said. Woo-hoo! For Natalie Charbonneau, who is blind, the instructions have allowed her to complete sets without relying on her sighted husband. It also allowed her to have fun with her 5-year-old son and build many fire trucks and other vehicles. If he has questions, I have the ability to check his work or follow along instead of saying, I think she's probably French, right? If he has questions, I have the ability to check his work or to follow along instead of saying, you have to wait for your dad or you have to ask your dad. It's something that I can now do with him as well, which is empowering, she said. Charbonneau, a tester for Bricks for the Blind, is a doctoral student who lives in Bellingham, Washington. Terry Turgeon, the education director and community programs at Perkins School for the Blind in Watertown, Massachusetts, where Schifrin went as a baby. He went to school as a baby?
Watertown.
Damn. That's why he's so smart. Said the accessible instructions allow blind children to experience the same pleasure as their sighted peers. It also helps them to visualize a wider world and develop finer motor and tactile skills. He's created a space around innovation and accessibility that was otherwise not there prior. He's done so with a toy that children play with every day, she said. Back at the house, Schifrin helped build fellow blind builder Min Ha to build a go-kart. He grabbed Lego bricks and elements from 2 bowls and began to first put together a driver figurine. It's just legs, torso, head, helmet. You've built this before, it's a piece of cake. I believe in you, Schifrin told her. Awesome, she said with a smile, at least. Alright, I'm going to put this helmet on the head and then put the legs on the body. Yeah. And then the head's bound backwards. No, I'm just kidding. She reflected a journey that began 2 years ago when she built a lotus flower. A lot of blind people have been left out of this cultural and kind of childhood phenomena of being able to build Lego and play with Lego, Ha said. There is something incredibly satisfying about and also relaxing to be able to put together these very intricate, very beautiful, and architecturally complex builds. So there's your inspiring story about the blind man who helped change Lego for the better so more people can build Lego figurines. Pretty cool.
Okay. That reminds me of the old saying, the old metaphor. It's actually true. There are none so blind as those who will not see, right? This refers to, people that see evidence and they just ignore it. But blind people are not as blind as those who will not see. They won't see what's in front of them. And
that's true.
I think we can apply it to everyday life in America.
Yep.
Right.
It is really cool.
They're freaking face and they don't believe it. Oh, I don't believe that's happening. It's fake. It's not real. Oh, okay. don't know what to tell you. Okay, sorry.
Okay, let's go to our next story.
Metaphor.
All right, let me do this for you. Sorry.
No, metaphor or
Your
story?
applause.
A metaphor. I mean,
Another story.
We got a
Both.
spin or a
Both
story?
things.
Oh, wow. Okay, that was.
This one's really short,
okay.
so don't worry. This is from El País. Update from Spain. They have raised their unemployment figures. The highest has been in since I think they started being a democracy. But of course, politicians would be like, don't get too excited. This is from Catalonia on El País. The ARC leader in Congress laments that many people cannot fill their refrigerators and pay their rent. The spokesperson for Esquerra Republicana, ERC in Congress, Gabriel Bufon, commented on the 6th of April on the unemployment figures for March on Twitter, applauding that in Spain, more people are working than ever before, but predicting that precariousness and the crisis in access to housing will end up bringing down the government of Pedro Sanchez. Can you just celebrate this win, Mr. Bufon? Rufion's comment came after the release of the March Social Security affiliation figure. The number of affiliates surpassed 22 million for the first time in the country's history, following a record month in which more than 211,000 new jobs were added to the market. The Republican leader wanted to highlight the gap between the positive macroeconomic data and the public's sense of security. He stated on social media that while the data is obviously good, it would be even better if people could afford a home and put food on the table. What good are big data figures if oil comes with a warning label? Rufin remarked, having previously used this product as a clear example of the rising cost of living. Precarious employment and the housing crisis will bring down this government. Oh man, I thought this was going to be a positive news story, and then it's just talking about this guy being a bad news Nancy.
Yeah, I hate that,
Here
right?
Go.
Yeah.
Let's go to a different story, which is from... This is from April 6th. So this is the story they should have sent me to, not the one where the guy's going, well, you're still going to get unemployed. You're still going to lose the guys in power. This is from Oquel Pascual Cortez on El País.
Damn it.
The war in Iran and economic geopolitical consequences worldwide do not appear to have yet begun to take their toll on employment in Spain. Social Security recorded its best March in the historical series of statistics, which began in 2001. This year, gaining 211,510,000 new members, bringing the total to 21,882,147 contributors. So 21 over a little less than 20 little under 22 million contributors to the employment sector. This positive performance in employment in March was also highlighted by the Prime Minister himself, Pedro Sanchez, who, his highly unusual move, broke the embargo that is usually applied to this data and announced before 9 a.m. on his social media account. For the first time, the number of Social Security contributors has surpassed 22 million. With this announcement, he used seasonally adjusted data, which corrects for calendar effects and therefore more accurately reflects market trends, but is less commonly used for specific analysis of what happened in the registry during the month. I think what they're trying to say is they specifically look at data without ignoring the fact that, oh, well, there was a Easter weekend, so that's going to affect something or something, or it was Christmas, so of course there was less people employed or something like that. I have no idea what that means, but
yeah, right.
The employment patterns in spring months. Yeah, exactly. I was right, because the next paragraph explains it. Employment patterns in the spring months are typically influenced by the timing of Easter. This year, Easter fell between the end of March and the beginning of April, so it didn't affect employment, right? Because nobody got off. It was they got off on the weekend, but they had an extra day at the beginning of April. Consequently, numerous hires were made last month. This already resulted in a record number of hires in March, the best figures in the last 25 years. Since statistically comparable data has been available, furthermore, the year-on-year growth rate of registered workers has risen 2.5% since 2014 of October. Wow, what happened? What happened in this last quarter that caused this huge rise? Thank you, Whittlewolf. I am keeping up the good work here with my dad, of course. Roger is also here, keeping up the good work. As expected, the first
Thank
peak
you.
tour season has led to the hospitality sector, with almost 80,000 new members topping the job creation rankings. That's a lot of people. March's figures show the rate of job creation over the past years very high in sectors such as agriculture, which increased its overall workforce by 8% compared to 12 months ago. Other sectors also doubled the average employment growth and posted year-on-year worker growth exceeding 5%, as in the case in construction and water supply and waste management. Other sectors with strong employment increases above 4% include transportation and storage, as well as publishing, broadcasting, and content production and distribution, which were recently included as a separate sector in these statistics and now have over 100,000 registered workers. Similarly, the number of self-employed workers grew by 15,000, a figure not seen since March 2014. Wow. Good job, Spain. Well, hopefully the UK can also have a huge rise in unemployment figures. This is crazy. There's a graph here from 2000 to 2025. There was a huge spike between, I want to say, 2007 to 2013. That's where it got its highest, in 2013. And then we are kind of in March 2016. From 2013, it just started going down. There was a spike in 2020. I don't know why, actually. That's really interesting that there was a spike in sorry. I'm looking at the wrong graph. This is an unemployment spike. So unemployment spiked in 2013. There was almost 5 million people in Spain unemployed in 2013. Then, of course, it rose in COVID. Oh, that makes more sense. Of course, it rose to 4 million in COVID as well, because a lot of people lost their jobs. Because, like, I can't work at the cafe. I can't work at my, my production job. Everything was being canceled.
Unemployment probably went down, right? Way down after COVID, because when people die, they don't go back to their jobs, right? Somebody has to hire them or something.
I don't think you count those people. Yeah, but in 2021,
they don't count it as unemployment. They're not.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they get negated from the statistics.
Yeah.
But in 2021, it was at around 4 million. And then it slowly went down. I don't want to say exponentially. It's more of like a nice curve, a nice curve. And then we've reached 2.4 million unemployed in Spain. And the lowest it's ever been since they started was 1.9. So they're still not quite there to the lowest they've ever had, at least since they started recording it. So there's more in the story, but I didn't want to read this long story. I just wanted to talk about how the jobs are good. Yeah. Well, it's because I thought the original story I was reading. Yeah, the original story I was reading was really short. It was only one paragraph, but it was just about this guy complaining about, your government's still gonna fail. Don't take this as a win, Sanchez. Whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Anyways.
People can take any statistic and turn it into any argument, so it really doesn't really impress me anyway. By the way, the old saying, 80% of statistics are made up right on the spot. You know that one. And there's the old saying, Mark Twain said it, and he attributed it to Benjamin Disraeli, who was the prime minister for Queen Victoria. Anyway, that was called the metaphor is there's lies, damn lies, and statistics. All the same category. They're all the same category. Just bullshit you can get away with. Bullshit you can get away with. It's all there you go. Statistically.
Good morning, Johnny. Thank you for stopping by.
Joe Biden. Yeah, it was. It was higher than Joe Biden because Donald Trump negotiated with the Saudis to completely stop production during the pandemic, and they did it for a year, about 2.5 years or something like that, or a year and a half. Yeah, a year and a half. Yeah, so that's why the gas prices were high in 22, and they went way down after that. But we know the reasons for that. But again, that's just another statistic that people throw out there as if there was no reason behind it. They just, who happened to be president at the time is to blame. It's a little bit more complicated than that. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I always say it takes 10 years for a government policy to actually affect anybody. That's what I always say.
It depends on what it is. The price of oil right now is a definite cause of Trump's actions in Iran. It's a cause and effect, right? It's immediate. The price of oil went from 60 to 120 immediately. That's a cause and effect. It's undeniable. It didn't take 20 years. Oil prices are subject to the markets, right? The problem with Joe Biden was Trump negotiated a deal with Saudi Arabia before Joe Biden got in office. He could do nothing about it. It was written in stone. They signed a contract. We're not going to release any oil until this time period is over. Once Joe Biden released strategic oil reserves from our oil supplies, the price of oil went down. He did cause the price of oil to go down. He did not cause it to go up, though. And since he flooded the open market with American oil that other nations bought, that brought the price of oil down. Well, it depleted our strategic oil reserves. He can now buy strategic oil reserves at a lower price because he manually lowered strategic. The price himself. So Joe Biden lowered the price so he could buy it and replenish. Trump should have been buying oil for the strategic oil reserve this whole year. He didn't. He didn't plan this war. He did it because of Epstein. Those are the facts. I'm sorry if everybody wants to ignore them. All right, let's get a spin already,
segue
right?
is a metaphor off. So I'm going to do an accurate metaphor assembly for your stories.
Accurate. Okay. All right, we're going to talk about Japan. We talked about a story before. ZMScience.com. Yes. Japan just switched on Asia's first osmotic power plant. It runs 24/7 on nothing but fresh water and seawater. Yes. This is from Tudor Tarita. I don't know if we're going to dive into the science of this. It is ZMEScience.com. So it has the word science in it. It might confuse me. Not a good sign. And on a human morning in Fukuoka, a new kind of power came online. Japan has launched Asia's first osmotic power plant, which generates electricity by mixing fresh water and seawater, stuff that there's plenty of, although fresh water is harder to find. It is a meaningful plan, the start of the plan, perhaps in our response against climate change, said Kenji Hirakawa, director of the Seawater Desalination Center, which runs the facility. Yeah, you take seawater, take the salt out of it, and repurpose it to make electricity. Fukuoka's plant is only the second of its kind, following one in Denmark that opened in 23. Japan's version is larger and marks a step forward for this little used but promising renewable energy source. The plant will generate about 880,000 kilowatts of electricity per year, enough to help run a nearby desalination facility and supply around 200 homes. That equals the output of 2 soccer fields of solar panels. But osmotic power keeps running day and night in any weather. What is osmotic power? Osmosis is the same process that helps plants draw water from the soil and allows our cells to stay hydrated. Put simply, it is the movement of water from areas of low salt concentration to areas of high salt concentration, like seawater, to a special membrane. Osmotic power plants put this passive movement to work. Fresh water or treated wastewater is placed on one side of a membrane. Again, this is water that's been repurposed. It's not the water that comes out of a well. It's water that comes out of a sewer, gets repurposed, or it comes out of the ocean and gets desalinated. Anyway, on the other side is seawater, made even saltier by concentrating leftover brine from the desalination process. The difference in saltiness puts the fresh water across the membrane, increasing the pressure on the saltwater side. The pressure is then used to drive a turbine, generating electricity. You created motion. If you can create motion of any kind, you can create electricity. This is a rule of motion that Tesla applied when he made his first AC power generator. He called a dynamo. Anyway, back to this. It was also noteworthy that Japanese plant uses concentrated seawater, the brine that left the removal of fresh water in desalination plant as the feed, which increases the difference in salt concentration and thus the difference in energy available. Yes. The process is very simple. If we're going to summarize this towards the end here, let's answer a couple of their questions. They have questions. Why haven't we used this before is a good question. For something that sounds so elegantly simple, osmotic power has been stubbornly difficult to scale, right? You have to build huge plants because...
Wild Dead Wolf here in chat was talking about, like, this has existed in the 70s, but that's why I wanted to mention as well. It's really hard to scale it to supply energy to a whole neighborhood. Just because you can make a light bulb in some salt water is not the same thing, right?
In the United States, at least, probably worldwide, the energy demands are changing with these idiotic data centers that keep coming up to give us something. I'm not sure what we're getting.
I do want to mention real quick for anybody who doesn't know their geography, Japan is 9 times bigger than Denmark. So even though Denmark already has one, Japan is 9 times bigger. And this is only one region of Japan, right? It's not even the whole country.
Also way more densely populated, even though it is bigger, right? So
yes,
they're stacking people on people in Tokyo. They got so many. While energy, I mean, they do it in New York too, but I mean, Tokyo is even more densely populated. While energy is released in the salt waters, well, listen to this again.
Scale.
While energy is released in the salt waters mixed with fresh water, a lot of energy is lost as pumping the 2 streams into the power plant from the frictional loss of the membranes. That means net energy can be gained is small. Yes, there's a lot goes into desalination to begin with, which desalination is a lot of times just evaporation, right? Water evaporates, salt doesn't. You collect it up here and it drips off somewhere else, and then you got some water. And this is how ships do it, by the way. Ships, they use completely 100% repurposed water, just like spacecrafts do. So that's why when you take a shower, you got to pull a little cord every time you rinse. You can't waste water. The breakthrough movement arrived in 2009 when a Norwegian energy firm Statkraft unveiled one of the world's first prototype osmotic power plants. The 4-kilowatt demonstration facility showed that mixing fresh and salt water could indeed be harnessed to produce electricity. But despite the proof of principle, high costs kept the technology combined to laboratories and small pilot projects. Let's not forget that salt really is corrosive on almost just about everything. So let's not forget that. You need some maintenance people. Definitely on their toes. The challenge lines of efficiency. Pumps used to power up, move water into the system. Membranes can slow things down due to friction. These hurdles are not unsolvable. They keep osmotic power in the shadows of other counterparts. So there's your quick story, as quick as I can do it. Again, if you create motion, you create energy. End of story. You can harness that power, right? Energy can neither be created or destroyed, only converted. Second law of thermodynamics. Let's have us a metaphor that doesn't use the word thermodynamics in it.
My metaphor for this story is, what did I write it down? Here it is. Osmosis acts as a silent conductor, orchestrating the flow of this liquid masterpiece.
Ooh, wow.
While Dead Wolf, we really don't need to go on to a 10-minute tangent about batteries, because this guy he'll talk about batteries for 5 minutes.
Don't get me started. Anyway. Earth is a battery, if you want to look at it that way. It has poles.
I think I've had during this entire 3 or 4 years we've been running the show, I think we've had at least 10 battery instructional videos from you. So.
Earth is a battery. That's why it spins. It's got poles that are opposite polarity, and it keeps spinning, man. Because everything in space is also polar, right? It has a negative and a positive. It's pretty simple. I mean, molecules are like this. Why wouldn't Earth just be a big molecule? ScotlandPicture.com has the story about rewilding discovers dramatic wildlife recovery across Scotland. We've done this a bunch of times, whether it's putting bison or beavers. The bees, don't forget bees, all bees, bison, bees, and beavers, they will do wonders for your landscape.
Yeah.
The 3 Bs. There's probably a few other ones out there, but at least the 3 Bs. New research. This is from ScotlandTheBigPicture.com.
Oh, you've got another story? Okay, another story.
Yeah. New research from sites across the network coordinated by rewilding charity Scotland The Big Picture shows that rewilding has led to a dramatic increase in biodiversity. In rewildland, the amount of suitable space and habitat for birds increased more than 5-fold. The numbers of bumblebees and butterflies. There's another bee, butterflies. rose by over tenfold. Several analysis and networks suggested these rewilded landscapes support an estimated 2.5 million pollinating insects. These findings highlight the critical role that long-term nature recovery can play in reversing biodiversity loss and restoring ecosystem resilience against Scotland. The Scotland-wide chain of over 100 land holdings has supported 4.2 billion pounds sterling in local investments since its launch in 2021. The latest survey looked into a recent and historical rewilding action and found striking gains in both the variety and abundance of species, providing some of the strongest evidence that rewilding delivers measurable ecological recovery. I would like them to define the word rewilding for us. That would be helpful,
this isn't.
right?
This story isn't wrong, Wild Dead Wolf, because they're working on fixing it. So that's me. Just because.
When they say
also,
rewilding, they need to say what.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna delve into what rewilding consists of at some point in this article, I would think. I haven't seen it yet, but I think they're gonna get into it. Measuring the variety and abundance, supported by a team of specialists and surveyors, Aiden undertook Aiden, I didn't mention his name. Okay, I skipped this paragraph. Measuring a variety of abundance in different birds, bumblebees and butterflies, the survey should answer whether it could demonstrate rewilding these improved biodiversity. We already did that, okay. Results are astonishingly clear, said the ecologist Dr. Ross McLeod from Witherpool, John Moores University, who analyzed the data. We detected bumblebees and butterflies from more than 3,000. Wait a minute. He's in Liverpool. Shouldn't he have it talking like one of the Beatles, right? Never mind. We detected bumblebees and butterflies more than 3,000 times and recorded 1,000 pairs of breeding birds in over 1,000 kilometers of insects on rewilding land. Biodiversity surged across the board, and the number of bird species up from 261%. I don't know if that's Liverpudlian or not. And our breeding territories up by 546%. Liverpudlian, it's an actual thing. I heard Ringo say it, so I know it's a thing. Anyway, we also recorded greater variety abundance of red and white amber listed birds. Those who have conservation concerns, species such as the spotted flycatcher, the cuckoo, and the woodcock are relatively common in Northwood's rewild areas, bucking the national trend of catastrophic declines. Yeah, they want to live where there's nature. They don't live around a bunch of damn people. This article seems to be a bit longer than, there's only 3 more paragraphs, so we'll get through it. Several of the successful rewilding sites are also reaping the benefits of diversity, like Comrie Croft. I think we were near that, a former livestock farm and conifer plantation that's been converted into a regenerative farm and popular ecotourism destination. Comrie Croft. I think that's near Loch Tay. I'm pretty sure it is. Nature could thrive side by side, explains founder and owner Andrew Donaldson. Families, jobs, wildlife, it doesn't have to be either or. It's usually satisfying to know a site was nature depleted, not native woodland, making little money 30 years ago is now award-winning, rewilded mountain biking destination that receives 50,000 visitors a year, but also supports 4 times as many birds. Agati Red Whites and Lyrox Farm near Stirling, I know we've been to Stirling, is another example. The livestock farm doubles as a rewilding estate where visitors can enjoy guided tours and spend time in wildlife watching hides. It's exciting to know how rewilded areas support 10 times the number of bumblebees, says owner Tom Bowser. These areas are still essential for our farming businesses, either forming part of our wildlife watching areas or being grazed by our beef herd. For us, rewilding is a win for both nature and income. Our native woodlands now support more than 15 times the number of birds they used to. The results show us that rewilding not only works, but is extremely effective. Now, there's your story. I went on way too long.
Yeah.
I said it was shorter. It lied about how short the article was.
I mean, of course, we talked about this last Tuesday with the beaver, right? The rewilding of the beaver, reintroduction of the beaver to England specifically, right? And it's already made a lake. 1 year, a beaver couple made a lake, and another beaver couple just showed up out of nowhere. They're like, we don't even know where these guys came from.
Right.
Yeah.
They just It got through the beaver grapevine somehow. It just got through the grapevine.
Rewilding
all the way.
can be
Hey,
slow, it
beaver
can be
come!
fast. It really just depends on what you're rewilding with. So
That's
why
right.
they're
That's your
working
metaphor?
so hard. No. My metaphor is letting the wild colors of life burst forth, heal the scars of time. So.
In short, leave it to beaver. And let's do another spin.
Nice. Okay. Let's roll our next segue. And we're going for a joke. Tell me a joke about my culture news. That's what we're on.
Culture.
This
Culture,
story
I barely know
is
her. Anyway.
culture. Yes, it's from our culture news about the reopening of the Paris catacombs. So I think it was probably closed when we went to Paris 3 years ago. Well, not 3 years ago yet. 2 years ago. So it's exciting that it's reopened now after some safety renovations. Nobody's gonna get, stuck in a collapsed tunnel and then die of suffocation or anything like that. This is from Jean-Philippe Laigot on Euronews Culture. After 5 months of work, maybe it was open when we were there. After 5 months of work, the famous Parisian ossuary will be offering its many visitors a new, more immersive experience from Wednesday, 8th of April, so tomorrow. Get on that train to Paris now. Beneath the hustle and bustle of Paris's boulevards lies an empire of silence. 20 meters underground, the catacombs are not just a labyrinth of stone, but the guardians of memory. Since the 18th century, this sanctuary has been home to the remains of millions of Parisians. From the anonymous figures of the revolution to the great figures of history, it is the very soul of the capital that rests here, frozen in limestone. After 5 months of work, necessary for preservation and safety reasons, as well as to ensure the safety and enjoyment of 600,000 or so visitors per year. That's a lot of people. The site has been given a facelift. It's about the dead who died in Paris between the 10th and 18th centuries, explains Isabelle Knafou, the site's director. So even if we do not know exactly how many dead are there are millions of them, and we're responsible for preserving that place. And to preserve this place, it was urgent to carry out improvement work, technical installations, ventilation, lighting, and electricity. The catacombs are located in limestone quarries, which are in fact environments that move all the time. So there are constant waterways and movements in the quarry, which means that we have to consolidate, conserve, and improve. We're in an extremely wet environment. We're in an extremely wet environment, she adds. We had to do all that work in just 5 months, with very specific access and evacuation conditions, says Camille Gérardmer, whose architectural firm Artemis was commissioned to carry out the work. We had masons, electricians, all working underground together, with very specific rhythms during the 5 months of work. The history of the catacombs begins at the end of the 18th century with a major health crisis. The Innocent Cemetery was saturated in poor conditions, threatening the health of Parisians and forcing the closure of burial sites within the city walls. In 1786, the city decided to transfer the remains of 6 million inhabitants to the old limestone quarries of the tomb Isore, 20 meters underground. Initially a simple repository for loose bones, the site was transformed by 1810 by the inspector Louis-Étienne Herscart de Thury. It was he who designed this macabre architecture. The femurs and skulls were carefully stacked to form decorative walls, punctuated with engraved plaques and philosophical quotations. We don't know who these people are, but they died, and now their bodies lay here forever, entombed. Right in the heart of the Montparnasse district, this labyrinth of over a kilometer opened in the public in 1809 would become the largest ossuary in the world. Kind of sad though, don't you think? Just throwing bones into a hole. Just throw these bones into a hole. There's my story.
Yeah. You know what they say when they leave the catacombs, right?
What do they say?
They say bon voyage. Bon voyage, I'm leaving. Anyway. Because of the bone.
When did I see that happening? When did I see that coming?
You know, here's another joke.
Okay.
We didn't see everything in Paris. We didn't see all the Paris sites. Anyway, there's your terrible pun that I make every time we do a Paris story. We didn't see the catacombs. We did not see the Notre Dame Cathedral. We did not see the Louvre.
Notre Dame Cathedral was still on. We did go by the Notre Dame. It was still on.
Yeah,
it was still in ruins.
We go by.
Remember, we did a story last year, or maybe 24, where they actually had finally.
Yeah, I know it wasn't completed. I get.
Yeah. We could even see it. We could even see the ruins from the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah. I was just naming shit we didn't see. I understand.
Yeah. I have no.
We didn't see the catacombs either.
I have no cares for Paris either, Wild Dead Wolf. But that's not because it's changed. I just don't care about cities. I like being in cities for 3 days, and then I'm like, I want to go to the countryside. And it was really nice to go to Normandy instead. I thought going to Normandy was way more enjoyable than going to Paris because it was in the countryside.
Although the catacombs would have been interesting, beach. I have claustrophobia. Yeah. Although I have been in caves, like I did go. Yeah. I did go cave spelunking with Melanie, and boy, I almost had a phobia attack. We got in a really tight cave where you had to squeeze through to get to the other side, and on the other side was a whole shitload of room. But I was afraid I was gonna get stuck. I was like, man, my ass is too big for that hole. I'm gonna get stuck. You know, there's all that fear in my head. You know. Yeah, so I'm not big on underground. I figure I'm gonna spend enough time underground later. You know, I want to be there soon. No, I want to be above the ground where the sun is. Anyway, let's have a spin, I guess.
Our next spin reminds me of a song for this day in history.
I did send you a video, so hopefully you got it. It's not very long. April 7th in this day in history goes all the way back. It is April 7th. Why does that sound familiar? It seems familiar for me for some reason. Felix V in 1449, the last anti-pope was abdicated. The anti-pope, there was a thing called an anti-pope. It's like, what is that? It's like an antidote. You take it when you get a pope. We're going to jump way ahead in history from that. We're jumping all the way up into the 20th century. 1950, Billie Holiday, one of the greatest American jazz singers from the 1930s and 1950s to the 1950s, born in Philadelphia. Happy birthday to Billie Holiday. She is born 1950. 1922, the U.S. Secretary of Interior Albert Bacon Fall secretly leased federal oil reserves to the Mammoth Oil Company to return for cash gifts. The oil field at Teapot Dome in Wyoming gave the Teapot Dome corruption scandal its name, which probably would have led to the downfall of Warren G. Harding. Warren G. Harding avoided any trouble in the Teapot Dome scandal by dying. So that you got that one. 1927, the first public demonstration of one-way video phone occurred between Herbert Hoover, the then U.S. Secretary of Commerce in Washington, D.C., and the American Telephone and Telegraph Company, or AT&T, in New York City. So a one-way video phone, a television broadcast, basically. 1927.
That's
1933, some 8 months. Yeah, 99 years we've had television. 1933, 8 months before Prohibition was repealed, low alcoholic beer became legal in the United States, subsequently celebrated as National Beer Day. Low alcohol beer, they call it near beer. Remember as a kid, they had a thing called, now they call it no alcoholic beer. Back when I was a kid, before the drinking age was 18, they had a drinking age for beer and wine of 18. Not all states did this. Beer and wine was 18. Hard liquor was 21. Made no sense to me as a kid. It still makes no sense to me. You can get just as drunk, and you're probably going to get even more sick on beer and wine.
Yeah.
Right? Or you might become a hardcore alcoholic on the other one, right? It's like the difference between, candy and cocaine. 1939, Albanian King Zog the First. Love a name like
King Zog. That's a pretty cool name.
Zog the First. Albania, way ahead of their time with names.
I think non-alcoholic beer is still beer because it's still barley water, I think.
There is alcohol that is created by the fermentation that happens in the can or like the keg or whatever, incidental to any alcohol they've tried to keep
it's non-transferable alcohol.
There's a trace amount of alcohol.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna get you drunk. You'd be pissing more than you get drunk. 1939 again, King Zog went to exile after Mussolini spoiled his fun and made Albania part of Italy's protectorate. 1939, Francis Ford Coppola was born. He made the Godfather's movie and Apocalypse Now. If you don't like those movies, you probably haven't seen them. They're great movies. 1947, Henry Ford, who revolutionized factory production through the assembly line, died at the age of 83. He was a Nazi sympathizer.
Ooh.
But anyway,
bye, loser.
In hell. He's being punished in hell. He invented mass production. He did pay his workers well, but he was a good capitalist, even though he was a Nazi sympathizer. 1948, the World Health Organization was a specialized agency, the UN, was formally established. That's right. That is right. In 1963, in this day, Jack Nicklaus, he won his first Masters tournament at the age of 23. He became a dominating figure of world of golf from the 60s to 80s. Winner of 73 PGA Tour events and 18 majors. Tiger Woods was supposed to catch him, but Tiger had his own personal problems. So Jack's still with his 18 majors. Tiger's still with 14. Poor Tiger. Let's not feel sorry for him too much. 1994, Rwandan Prime Minister Agathe something I cannot pronounce. Uwilingiyamana, a moderate Hutu, was assassinated by Hutu soldiers a day after the deaths of Juvenal Habyarimana, president of Rwanda, and Cyprien Ntaganda, president of Burundi. These two events marked the beginning of the Rwanda genocide of '94, which continued in July. And most of the Western world was like totally unaware this was happening. And it's just all one day it then appeared on our news. Well, holy shit, we got to do something. And then we're like, it's too late. It's too late. We didn't even I remember it. It's like, this is happening. And we were just talking about other shit. We ignore it. We ignored it because it was Africa. That's why. 2001, NASA launched the 2001 Mars Odyssey spacecraft. Important anniversary, which reached Mars in October and transmitted photos and other data back to scientists on Earth. I want to point out it took 8 months to get there. 6 months to get there. So 6 months it takes to get at its closest point it takes to get to Mars. 2012, Mike Wallace passed away, known for his 60 Minutes hard-hitting interviews. His son is now a reporter. What's his name? I can't think of his name. Mike Wallace, his son is... Anybody. He died on this day in 2012. He made it to 93. I'll think of it in a minute. 1966, featured event is the lost nuclear bomb was found. That's right. On this day, 1966, Spanish authorities announced the recovery of a hydrogen bomb that had actually fallen into the Mediterranean several months earlier. The bomb, along with 3 others, had dropped from the sky after US B-52 collided with a refueling tanker over southern Spain, killing 7 airmen. 2 bombs exploded, a third landed in tank, and a fourth simply disappeared until officials pursued a tip from a fisherman about something hitting the water the day after the incident. A hydrogen bomb. Big damn deal. That would have caused a big hole. Our feature biography, Ravi Shankar, born April 7th, 1920, died December 11th, 2012. He was born in Varanasi, India. and he died in San Diego at the age of 92. Ravi Shankar, also the father of Nora Jones. Other birthdays today: Jackie Chan, Chinese actor and director. Jackie Chan, born in 1954. Russell Crowe, born 10 years later. Russell Crowe turning 62 today. He's born in 1964. Tim Peake, British astronaut and military officer, born in 1972. We'll bring this show into the station with a whole bunch of days it is today. It's National Beer Day, as we touched on that earlier. National Coffee Cake Day. Don't combine the two. It sounds awful. It's Sam Day of Action. It appears to be some kind of disease. No, it's abuse. It's a day. It's a month of abuse. Domestic abuse day of action that day. Well, it's a day of action for abuse. Domestic abuse. No household work day. No national no housework day. Girl Me Too Day. Not sure what that is. I'll probably have to click on that one too. I did have to click on.
It's just for Me Too. It's Me Too Day. National Girl and Me Too Day. I don't know why they put a comma there. It's very weird.
It seems very specialized again.
I guess to be explicitly Me Tooing women, I guess, but they say girl, which is conflicting because girls are usually, I consider girls to be underaged. Not
just sporting your women, and whatever. I guess it ties in with the abuse, right? The abuse, domestic abuse, and the Me Too. It all ties together. Those are all your days, everything. Woo! We made it through Good Newsday. April. We got limericks, we got no haikus, jokes, we got crap going on. Your good news for April 7th, 2026 on Before Coffee Cake. Before Coffee Cake. Right on. Goes with coffee. Man, I
will have to disagree with that one. I do not think we're 9 months older than we are because I don't think we exist as human beings until at least the third trimester. So maybe I'll give you we're 2 or 3 months older than we are, but I would never give you 9 months. When we're the size of a pea inside our moms, we're not alive. We're not humans.
If you want to go and say zygotes are humans, why are not egg cells? Because your egg cells are created before you were even born. So in actuality, you were created the day your mom was created. So that goes back to 1968. 1967 is the day you were created. You were created in 1967. There you go.
Basically, we've been created since the beginning of time when you follow that line, right? Because then she was created whenever her mom was created, and they keep going forever.
Yeah, somewhere in September of 1967, you were created. So congratulations on that.
So I believe
your egg cell?
An egg isn't considered. What is an egg called? Something with a G.
Ovum.
An ovum. There we go. There's no G in the word ovum, but yeah. Sperm and eggs are called something, and when they come together, become a zygote. That's how biology works, for the most part. In every mammal, and actually every animal that reproduces, they do that. They combine like that.
Sperm cells are only created that day, so it's not the same as eggs. Eggs are created like a long time ago. Yeah.
I thought sperms.
There's billions of them. They can't just. They die. If they're not sent out into the world, they just die. Yeah, they just got their little thing. Here I am, hanging out in your scrotum.
The word is it's gamete. They're called gametes. Okay, there. I was like trying to think of what that was. Gamete.
All right, let's get out with it, man. Enough of the biology. Now we're off in the freaking.
It says here it's 64 days. It takes 64 days to create a sperm. There you go. I just wanted to cover the facts here.
64 days to create one. Okay, so 64 days.
Yeah.
So here's the puzzle in your brain. So your brain, the brain you have in your head is created on that day, right? That day that your mother was conceived and 64 days before you were conceived. That is when your brain is created. Isn't that weird? Think about it that way.
Mm-hmm.
You combine those two things, and that's the day your brain melded up, right? It melded into one, going, all your grandmother's experience up until 1968, right? And all of my experiences up until 1993. That's weird, right? Anyway, it's something to think about.
Oh, interesting.
Anyway, we have a spin.
Reminds me of a song. The song it reminds me of is Coffee for Closers by Fall Out Boy.
Nice.
I wanted to play the video real quick to remind me about the song, and then it said not available. So
I get the lyrics.
Oh,
that's not cool.
Okay, it's the song.
We can do one more cup of coffee. One more cup of coffee by Bob Dylan and Emmylou Harris.
There's also a coffee song called Java Jive by the Ink Spots. An old band.
Yeah.
That's an old one, yeah.
Oh,
Java Jive.
He. I love the Java Jive and he loves me. I know that one.
With my coffee cake.
With my coffee cake. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so actually I forgot to do this yesterday, probably because it was Monday, and I always forget to do something on Mondays. International UN observances.
Monday, man.
Yeah. International Day of Sport for Development and Peace. That was yesterday, which we didn't cover yesterday's observance. So sports, build bridges, and break barriers down, saying, hey, wait, if that little Asian girl can skateboard, maybe I can too. Let's all be skateboarders together. That's the example they give, at
maybe
least
we'll do that tomorrow,
on the page.
We'll do a video of sportsmanship tomorrow.
Sport, like food, like music, is an universal language that transcends cultural, social boundaries, and it serves as a powerful catalyst for social transformation. Today, it's International Day of Reflection on the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi and Rwanda. That's right, the 1997 Rwanda genocide
we covered
happened.
That. We covered that.
And we need to remember, hey, say no to genocide. Stop killing people because you don't like them. Just ignore them if you don't like them. Just don't pay any attention to them. That's what I do when I don't like people. And they don't try to murder their entire culture. And finally, it's also World Health Day at the WHO, World Health Organization. Celebrate annually every day when the WHO was founded in 1948 on April 7th. The anniversary of, hey, we should try to control pandemics and epidemics. We should try to get rid of malaria and, Mpox and all these things. We should just all together as a globe on the earth and as a planet work towards getting rid of deadly diseases, deadly viruses, and stopping them from spreading. So thank you, the WHO, for existing. Even though they got a lot of hate during COVID because, all the conspiracy theorists, which they didn't deserve, they were just telling you there was a pandemic happening. Don't shoot the messenger, as I say with WHO. Okay.
Don't even yell at the messenger.
Yeah, they're just giving you the message. Leave them alone. This has been Allison here from the Netherlands. Roger from the East Coast of the U.S. as we finish up another good Newsday. I hope you feel inspired to go out there and, I don't know, tip your pizza delivery driver because they gave you the cheaper Pepsi.
Yeah.
And
I need somebody to start a GoFundMe for me because I'm retired.
We have to go do, like I said, you have to start being an Uber driver or a delivery, and then you just hobble up their steps and go up and fall down, and then they'll give you money. Trust me. It's gonna work.
I did see one where the delivery guy was on foot, and he just delivered to his neighborhood, and they were like, "Oh my God, he's on foot! Let's get him a bike or a car." And he's like, "I don't want a car.
I don't need that. I'm literally walking down the street." Yeah. This is what I want. Good Newsday. And we will see you tomorrow for Wacky and Weird Wednesday, in which we'll cover all the weird and wacky news we can find since last week and on Wednesday as well. I already have 2 stories already. My Monday news feed was full of stories that I could use on the rest of the week. Wow. So I'm not even looking. Yeah. So thank you everyone who's already following us. Already subscribe to us. If you're not subscribed, please do that, because the more people subscribe to our channel, the more YouTube will push us onto the algorithm, and more people will be able to see our anti-AI, anti-intelligence news here.
Yeah. I clicked on an AI video today. I'm ashamed of. Oh God.
Yeah, it's such a freaking shame. And thank you to all our
That's so
Patreon Before Coffee supporters on Patreon. I appreciate all of the help you're giving the show. And here is our mic drop moment of the moon. Our moon drop moment.
Our first views.
Yeah, this was
Orion
real.
After the loss of signal, Orion has come back around the other side of the moon.
That little sliver there
crescent that
is
you see is
us.
Earth,
That's
over
Earth.
250
Yeah, that's what we look like when
miles
we're being
away.
eclipsed by the
Behind
shadow of
the
the moon.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah.
With this
It's gonna get
transit
bigger.
complete, lunar flyby continues.
Hi, me!
But Orion has also
That's probably not
begun
even...
its journey home.
Actually, it might be where I was because
Okay.
the moon, it would have been, it was nighttime when this happened. So maybe I am actually there. That's Europe, Africa,
It's always
Asia.
nighttime somewhere. The sun's
Right now,
shining
the
on
crew are
it.
getting
Yeah,
a few
so who
moments to
knows,
enjoy
right? It
and
could have
take
been
photos
here.
of Earthrise for
I
themselves,
mean, it was 6
and we
o'clock.
expect to
The sun was
contact them
still up.
shortly. But we do have good signal coming from Orion.
It's also summertime
This view
here,
from
so
inside the Orion
we're going to be
spacecraft,
summertime soon.
all 4 astronauts now back
Oh,
So
I
the
see
Earth
you.
is
You're
tilted.
waving.
in
I see you
the way.
contact
there.
with us
You're
on
waving.
Earth.
Did you see that? I
Yeah.
seen you.
Their tasks
You're like,
for lunar flyby
it was your
did
one
not
next to that
stop
guy
as
with
they
the
went behind
green
the moon
hat.
and out of contact with us. We anticipate during that time they were attempting to image
People said that if
some
you had a
impact
powerful enough
flashes,
telescope, you could have
flashes on the
seen
lunar
the
surface,
Artemis 2
which would be caused by impact bombardment
mission.
and potentially even
With
Yeah,
a telescope,
you
could
would
have
have
seen
seen
it
it go
floating right
across
there by the
face
moon.
of the
Right
moon.
now, of course,
Yeah.
they are getting
Very cool.
pictures of
I'm hoping
Earthrise.
somebody has photos of that. I haven't been able to see any.
After this target, they
But-
will get a short observation break. It's about an hour long, actually.
Seeing the Orion.
See, they're really not doing a whole lot of science, like
Integrity, we have
strategically
you loud and clear. How
stuff.
many?
They're just basically going for a joyride. It's just like, yeah, we're taking
Well, they're
readings.
collecting a lot of data.
I mean, they're not landing on the moon. They don't have to retrieve anything. There's no spacewalk happening, right? None of that stuff,
Well,
right?
I heard from the lady that they were getting the first high-quality photos of the backside of the moon so they can plant it or plot it out
True.
better, is what they said.
But
Just
also
better
not
high-quality
dangerous.
maps.
They're not-
I mean, there could be a
nothing
rupture in the
dangerous like
capsule.
landing on one.
They could have done the calculations
space
wrong and
travel
missed
is
the Earth
inherently
completely.
dangerous.
Yeah.
Space travel is always inherently dangerous. I'm saying, as far as space missions go, this is the easiest by far they'll ever have. All they're doing is going for a ride. And that's it. They're going for a ride.
We will always
And
choose Earth.
it is the first
We
one in a
will
long time,
always
though, so I
choose
guess
all been
it's
set
okay.
up
It's a
for 'em.
joyride.
I
Integrity
guess,
from Earth,
again,
our
I
single
would put this in
system,
perspective
fragile
of
and interconnected.
why
We copy.
we want to
Those
leave
of
a
us that
planet
can are looking
that we'll
back.
never find another one. Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.